Hello, happy Monday. Hi, GMO. Hi, Grandmaster Ong. How are you doing? Hi, Flawless. Hi. Hi, Dave. Hi, K-Baby. K-Babe. K-Babe. Oh my gosh. How you guys doing? Here lurking while I work and unpack. Oh, you moved, right? She moved. K-Babe moved. Cool. The camera seems better too. What? You look lovely. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. Sorry, I'm weird. How is everybody doing today? Oh, here we go. Oh, it worked. Yay. Okay, so good. So I did the settings and now my camera works. It's not on 480 anymore. I can actually put on 1080p instead of just 720. What makes the camera look what? Loving the new lighting. Oh, the lighting is the same. I just put these lights a tad brighter. That's it. You know? That's it. Oh, the flower. So what do you want? We need butterfly or flower in your hair. You gotta choose butterfly or flower. Butterfly or flower, which one? You pick sushi. You pick sushi. I'm gonna put a flower, fine. Put a flower. Let's see, put it right here. Good. That's good. Okay. Put it a little bit closer like that. Yeah. Okay. All right. How's everybody doing today? Oh, thank you. I did play with the settings, you know. I had to get that capture card thing, you know. It's called Gurmuk. Yeah, I had to put the capture card into my Mac and then get the micro USB into the camera and set that up, you know. Much better than last night. I'm happy, Dave. I'm glad you're well. It's good to hear. It was good to see you getting better too last night. It's great. Super happy. Yeah. So I hope everybody's doing super amazing today. Oh, right. I forgot about this. The sound. Did it make a sound? It didn't make a sound for me. Did it make a sound for you guys? Did it make a sound for you guys? No sound. No sound. Okay. Gotta get that worked. Okay, no problem. I wonder why. Let me have a look here real quick. Test trigger. No, sounds are not off. No. Yeah, I have to figure out. I'll figure out later why the sound is not working. The love bomb is not ready yet. The hunt is not ready yet. You know, we have a few things. The lights worked, right? That's cool. Thank you. Yeah, and then I'm gonna have the love bomb, the hunt, and just other little things. You know, I'm gonna get my light strip from the bedroom and put it out here too. So it'll be fun. I didn't realize that these things worked. I had no idea. So I did a little bit of research, and you know, so it's fun to see those. Love bomb is so creative. Who thought of that? Love bomb is gonna be all red, like a big red bomb, you know? Yeah, I'm gonna also get the hue from the bedroom and put it up here so that there's more stuff, you know? I think it'll be fun. It's not like I need the one in the bedroom anyways. Like I never used that for anything, you know? Why did it go like that? Why did it go like that? I don't know what happened. I don't know why that happened. I have to figure out why that happened. Anti-bubbles! Anti-bubbles! It's a party in there. I don't know why. It did flash red a few times when somebody did like a gift or something like that, or like a sub or whatever. Or try to. I don't know what's going on. How's it going, Sushi? I'm good. I'm doing good. I like that. Oh, TwitchCon, you got that because you're going to TwitchCon. Oh, the beach ball. That's awesome. I'm doing good. Rubber Eagle. I'm here while I work, so may have you in my ear mainly. Oh, that's okay. I appreciate it. I appreciate you doing that. Oh, Mama Pie sub for 3 months. Hi, Rubber Eagle. Welcome in. Yeah, guys, I have actually a check-in with the counter now. If you guys want to, use the check-in. It's a love check-in, so anyone can check in. So yeah, I'm gonna check in. There we go. Yeah, so 0. Okay, yeah, there's something going on there. It says 0, so I have to figure that out too. Thank you. I will get the water bottle. I have a little cooler here. Hi, Cassie. Hi, Cassie. How are you doing? I haven't seen you stream in a while. How have you been? Yeah, today's mental health month is going to be a little bit different. Hi, Robert. Hi, Flawless. Everybody's talking. It's going to be really, like, just pretty chill. We do have a topic today, but, like, I was actually going to be sitting outside with a campfire, but we are in state of emergency here in BC, so I cannot have a fire. So I thought of maybe smoking meat, but then when I started setting up all my stuff outside, the clouds came in, and then I was like, oh, no, you know? So I decided to just stay inside. Dealing with boomers on the phone. Oh no, I just stream, just not as frequently. Oh, okay. Okay. I get it. Well, I'm having a really super 2.0 beer today, and we're just gonna chat. We're gonna do a mental health check-in, see how everybody's doing, and we're gonna talk about limerence too. Low-key wanna quit working for a few years. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I hear you. I haven't actually worked since 2024 when I sold my food truck. I did a couple of events with my food truck in 2024, and then I sold it in February 2025, and I haven't touched that business forever. It was very hard to do it alone. If I had a partner to do it with, that's one thing. But limerence, yep. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that a little bit. Yeah, but I wanted to do a check-in. New words for me? Yes. Yeah, I stumbled upon a video on YouTube, and I thought it was really interesting, and so I thought, you know what? I've seen that, and I never heard of that name, the limerence name. I didn't know, it rang a bell. I heard it before, but I didn't remember that that's what it was, and so I'm like, you know what, this is actually kind of cool, because I think, at some point everybody kind of has lived that, that kind of experience, either from either side. So I wanted to talk about both sides of the story, you know what I mean? Just check in. Like I said, I'm having a beer, just one casual conversation with you guys, Ooh, this would be fun to listen to while I work in the back. Yes, for sure. Yes. Wow, I just missed a solid minute. My internet cut out. Oh no, it's okay, we're good. I was just saying that I'm having a beer, we're gonna have some casual talk. I just thought this is like a subject that, I'm gonna have a beer, I'm gonna smoke some meat, and and yeah, just so I wanted to see how everybody's doing. How's the brain, how's the heart? Have you been sleeping? Have you eaten anything that doesn't come out of a bag this week, this so far today, or the weekend, or whatever? Have you gone outside? Have you touched some grass? Have you stared at the sky or in the trees and stuff? Luckily, here where I am, we don't have any smoke, but my province is currently in a state of emergency. We've been having like the worst fires in a really long time. A lot of people getting evacuated and all that. Maybe she asked me to KQ. I said no, not strong enough. Oh my gosh. Have we talked to somebody we love lately? You know, because apparently, you know, it's nice to, it's good for our mental health to talk to people we love. You know, I have not gone outside. It's poisonous. Oh, yes, the smoke, right? Where you are, there's smoke, right? Did you catch 5 minutes where nobody needed anything from you today? You know, because apparently it's self-care now, you know? So I kind of just, you know, check in. I'm gonna have some of my beer. You guys can have whatever you want. Hot tea, coffee, hot chocolate, juice, kombucha. I don't know. I'm not judging you. It's all good. You know, we're gonna do mental health responsible-ish. Did it get solid hour just me and my coffee? Oh, that's nice. That feels good, doesn't it? Yeah. Me too. I woke up before Vinny woke up and I had my coffee alone. I did some stretches, some hip work, you know. Gotta work those hips, you know, getting older, gotta make sure, you know, you move them and get them moved, because apparently when you get older, the hips kind of get stiff and stuff, and it's, you know, tough to move them and stuff like that, you know. It's just good to move. It's good to move. But anyways, like the whole limerence thing, right? It's a weird word and it almost sounds like something out of, I don't know, the Victorian woman gets before she dramatics like falls into her couch and cries and whatever. Oh no, she's got limerence, you know. But you know, like I said, I watched the video and I found that it was actually really interesting, you know. The more they talked about it, I'm like, okay, I've seen this, you know. And there's, I think, one thing in particular that kind of stuck with me is that, like, this idea that sometimes when we completely wrapped up on in like somebody, you know, like we're not like necessarily like wrapped up in them, we're wrapped up in the like idea of them. And then I was thinking, damn, that actually like is really interesting. I think that I think a lot of us have had that experience at one point in our lives. I think from both sides of the story, right? Because I think, you know, our brains are weird sometimes, right? Sometimes we kind of like, we meet somebody and then we know like 12 things about them, and then our brain goes like, perfect, that's plenty, I'll take on from here, you know. We know the version of them that we've experienced. We know what they told us. We know like how they act around us. Maybe we've had some really deep conversations with them, but there is still so much we don't know. And apparently our brain is like just absolutely perfect at perfectly happy like filling in the missing pieces that we don't know about the person, right? And then once we really like somebody, we probably not filling in with blank stuff like, oh, they probably don't put thank you, K babe. they we don't think like, oh yeah, no, they like we don't think, oh, they probably leave the toilet seat up, or they probably, you know, leave their towels on the floor. No, we always, you know, we fill our brain with all the good stuff, you know, all the really good stuff. So they probably understand me in such a deep way, or they probably treat me so much better than anyone has ever treated me, or like they're probably not gonna hurt me like so and so did, you know. And they're probably amazing to wake up next to. Oh, thank you, Flawless. Thank you. Thank you for giving K Babe a sub. Thank you so much. Yay! K Babe has a sub. Thank you for redeeming the love check-in. It says 0. I don't know. I have to. The problem with this is I can't like set up unless I'm live, you know? So because I can't try out unless I'm live. So I have to do like a live test at some point. Or maybe Oh yeah, maybe it was, maybe. Oh, maybe it starts with 0. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. So, yeah, so we fill up our brains with all the positive stuff, and we keep saying that it's probably this, probably that, and all the good stuff instead of, we don't fill in with the blanks that we don't know about the person with the negative stuff. And eventually, I feel that maybe we can have this whole version of somebody living in our head, and the actual person didn't really like apply for the position to be there, so we're just kind of like, congratulations, you're not responsible for my future happiness. You start Monday. You know what I mean? And that's funny when we say it like that, but I think there's something really human underneath all of that stuff. You know what I mean? Because I feel sometimes we're not only imagining who they are, like we're imagining who we would be with them, Maybe we'd finally feel wanted. Maybe we'd like feel safe. Maybe we would kind of finally have somebody who really gets us, Maybe we feel chosen. You know what I mean? Hi, this guy's Dagani, welcome in. And being chosen, I think that's a big one. I really do. Because I think sometimes being wanted by a particular person starts meaning something about us, If this person's want me, then I must be worth wanting, And now this person isn't just somebody we like anymore. They started representing somebody like maybe love or belonging, excitement, maybe like validation, or maybe safety, escape, or maybe we're just lonely as fuck, who knows, So none of that is anything to be ashamed of. We're human. We want connection, right? But I think that there's like an interesting question here. Do I actually want this person, or do I want how I imagine I'm going to feel if this person wants me? Because those are not the same thing. And yeah, so that's a question, right? I feel that, I don't know, maybe the person we're thinking about isn't even doing half the stuff we're giving them credit for, really. We are doing it in our imagination. The imagination is kind of doing all of that labor in this relationship. They're just existing, and we're like, they make me feel so hopeful. Do they? Or does the future we're imagining with them make us feel hopeful, or they make me feel understood? Okay, do they actually understand us? Or have we imagined how wonderful it would be if they did? How awesome it would feel if they did understand us? And please, please, please don't leave today here and immediately like break up with somebody because Sushi had a beer. That's not what we're doing here. I'm just talking about those times when the fantasy starts telling a bigger story than it actually is happening. And there's the real person, and then there's the person inside our head, and sometimes those two people aren't really the same person anymore. You know what I mean? Relying on someone else to make you happy is not a good way to go. No, exactly. Happiness starts within, right? It's not the person, but the idea of the person that you're infatuated with. Exactly. How you doing, Jember? Yes, no, you gotta love yourself first. You know what I mean? It's tricky though, because, and I think that for me, I resonate with this stuff because I've been single for it's coming close to 7 years now of being single and not looking, not going out on dates or anything like that. Just single, just taking care of myself. And you kind of, when I see videos like that and I learn about this stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, that was me at some point. And I'm like, I would never allow myself to be in that position again. You can get infatuated and like with people that you might admire, but it's not like I would never lose myself over somebody ever again. I have, in the past. Of course, I think we all have at some point. Finest, hi! Hi, welcome in. And yeah, so there's that, and then there's the person too. So how are you doing, Finest? Are you streaming today? No, I don't see you live. No, you're not live. I usually, it's funny, I usually am on your stream when I go live. I have you back in the background every time. Yeah, taking a rest day. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. We love mental health Mondays. Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're just talking about the idea of you, like, that weird word called limerence, So definitely safe to say that I fell for that once upon a time. Oh my gosh, I think we all have though. So yeah, I got curious, when I saw that video, I got curious, and then I did a little bit more research about it. I can't hear something in this and just move on with my life like a normal person. I gotta, dig in, I gotta go down the rabbit hole. I have to, because that's just how I am. So I started reading more about it. I started reading about limerence, and something I should probably say is that limerence is not actually a mental health diagnosis. It's just a word that it was created in psychology by, what's her name? Dorothy something. I forgot her name. Decades ago. So I think it was like in 1920 something, or something like that. Or maybe no, it was in the 1800s, late 1800s. I don't remember now. But so she describes this really intense romantic fixation with another person. And when I say fixation, I mean like our brains has apparently decided this human being is now breaking news. We're replaying conversations in our brain. We're looking for signs that don't really exist. Their attention can feel amazing, and if suddenly they seem distant, our brain is like, everybody to the control room, something happened. And there's some really interesting research around romantic attractions and the brain's reward and motivation system and stuff, because dopamine is involved in these systems, which has a lot to do with wanting, motivation, learning, and like anticipating rewards. And then one part found especially interesting, I think, is the uncertainty, right? Do they like me? Maybe. Are they going to message me? Maybe. Was that flirting? Maybe. And then out of a sudden we're checking the phone, nothing. Check again, nothing. Oh my gosh, is it them? And then it's just, it can be really powerful for our brains, it's just like a lot, which made me think about how sometimes like the most confusing connections can also be really hard to stop thinking about. Somebody's warm, then they're distant, then they warm again, and then we don't hear from them, and then our brain is sitting like, so are we doing this or what? I don't know. It's just interesting when to read about that stuff and to see all those things. But I wanted to be careful because there's a lot of stuff online that basically turns limerence into like dopamine addiction. And hey, that's a really neat internet explanation, but I feel that human beings are way more complicated than that. There's a lot still we don't know specifically about. I think limerence is kind of like still, we have research around romantic love, reward, attachment, rumination, and all this, but we can't just throw the word dopamine at everything and call it science, right? Otherwise, this beer is dopamine, the fire is dopamine, you guys are dopamine, everything is freaking dopamine. So yeah, we just gotta be careful with that stuff. But there is a lot in that, and I actually have a little short video to show about that, which is, whatever. So I'm less interested in the diagnosis herself, and then I'm more interested in noticing what we're doing. Is my mood starting to depend on somebody, Am I, am I reading meaning into every little interaction? Am I spending more time imagining the relationship than actually experiencing one? Is the uncertainty itself keeping me interested? Because our brain. New follow, Kai Jai. Hello, welcome in, Kai Jai. I don't know, Kai, because there's two I's. I love that name. It's awesome. Welcome in, new person. Welcome in. Thank you. And I noticed, I didn't realize that it does that when it, there's a follower stuff. This is all new to me. So yeah. So, and it's pronounced as KJ. KJ, oh, of course. See, English, not first language. So yeah, KJ. Sushi goes KJ. Oh my gosh. KJ, welcome in, KJ. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Oh my gosh, we're like 153 from 2,000 followers. Woohoo. Maybe it's KJ. We don't know. Yeah, I love it. So yeah, so what if we were like on the other side of this limerence thing, right? What if we're the person that somebody has built this whole idea around? It's kind of weird to think about that, right? Because everything we've talked about can happen on the other direction too. Like sometimes we can fill in the blanks about somebody can fill in the blanks about us. They can imagine that we're thinking what we're feeling, who we are when we're not around, and there's this whole other version of us living in somebody else's head, and we don't even know them, and that's interesting. Imaginary me, it's kind of like out there making commitments and stuff like that in somebody else's brain. So like, it's just think about it, it's and the funny thing is that being idealized can sound kind of nice, right? Somebody thinks we're amazing, they see all these beautiful things about us, and that could feel really flattering, but it could also start feeling really uncomfortable, So when we realize, wait, does this person actually see me? Or does this person see the version of me that they created in their mind? Because those two, they're completely different things, right? So, and this really stuck with me, being adored is not like necessarily the same thing as being known. Somebody could think we're the greatest person walking this earth and then still not actually know us that well, right? Maybe we became a comfort to them, safety, happiness, like love, a future, maybe even escape from something happened in their own life. And I think that if I have two very good friends here, and I think you guys know exactly, like when I talk about this stuff, it's some stuff that happened this year. You can kind of understand a little bit. You guys know a lot of stuff, right? So yeah, it doesn't make anybody bad or weird. Please don't think that anything like that. We're not judging anybody tonight. Maybe tomorrow somebody's gonna message me like, Sushi, I've been thinking about this, and I think that my mailman has limerence. No, leave the poor man alone. He's just delivering your Amazon package. You know what I mean? I don't know. But sometimes, we could notice that somebody's expectation of us are becoming bigger than the relationship we actually have, right? Maybe they need a lot of attention. Maybe something tiny we do means a ton. to them, you know, maybe more than we intended, you know. Maybe we're being friendly and they're reading like into something completely different, you know, and maybe they're becoming really affected when we're busy, need space or spend time with other people, you know. At least 3 people in this room can't keep me out of their head, and that's okay, but you gotta stop messaging me, guys. The fish AJ Styles, hi. Look at viewer count to make sure there's 3 people. My viewer count is off. I keep it off. I don't have it on. Yeah. The fish. Make up your mind. You are usually yelling at me when I don't message you. Hi, Finest Homegirl. How are you? Hi. How are you? Sliding into Dave's DM now? That's funny. But it can happen, you know? It can happen. It can be us, you know, having these, you know, infatuated feelings over somebody and this, like, romanticizing over people we don't even know well. It's just, you know, it's really, it's like, love check-in. Thank you for the check-in. Canada journey. Yeah, but think about it, you know, maybe sometimes trying really hard not to hurt somebody can actually make things more confusing. You know, we could think that, you know, we're being kind and they might be thinking there's still a chance. You know, shit, like that's uncomfortable, man, you know? Pizza party! Hi, Canada Journey. Welcome in. Thank you. I'm shy because you look amazing. What? With my luck, they totally will. Thank you so much. You're very sweet. Very kind. Canada Journey. Hi. No, it's done. Okay, I squeezed one last out of it. There you go. So nobody wants to feel like, you know, like an asshole or anything like that. But sometimes being clear is actually kinder than constantly reassuring someone because you're afraid of hurting them. You know? Praying for ya while your inhaler is now out. Thank you. Yeah, and you know, the smoke is not even bad over here. But you know, my province is in a state of emergency. Well, I'm in BC. Are you in BC? Canada Journey? You don't have to answer if you don't want to, but I'm in BC and we are currently in state of emergency. Yeah. So I was planning on doing my stream outside today. You're in Southern Ontario. I lived in Ontario for 12 years. Yeah. You do Flonase too? RIP my inbox. Oh my gosh. Mission? Oh, Mission. Okay, yeah, they have it better around there. Yeah. Yeah, we're pretty lucky here in Vancouver Island. It's not too bad. But I lived, so when I first moved to Canada, I landed in Toronto and I went to Niagara Falls. I lived in Niagara Falls for a few months. Then I moved to Toronto and I lived in Toronto for 2 years. And then I moved to Collingwood and I lived in Collingwood for 4 years. And then I moved to Muskoka and then I was living between Gravenhurst, Bracebridge and Huntsville for like 4 years as well. Then I moved to Windsor for a year. Yeah, Collingwood. Yeah, I loved Collingwood. Collingwood is such a nice town. You know, all that area. Yeah, so yeah, I bought a trailer and I'm a chef, so I was working different resorts. I worked in Blue Mountain. I worked at Taboo Resort in Muskoka, Touchstone Resort in Muskoka. I was just working in different resorts, you know. You have an inhale and Flonase you snort and helps breathing. Ah, nice. All your relatives live up that way. It's so beautiful, you know. Hola, cheeks, welcome in. It's so beautiful up there, you know. When I lived in Collingwood, every single summer I would go up to Tobermory. It's so pretty there. I love Tobermory. Cypress Lake area is just like one of the most beautiful areas of Canada. It's just gorgeous. I have a buddy named Canadian Goose. I wonder what part he's from. Yeah. Yes, Cheeks, drive safe. Thanks for the lurk. I don't know if I'm in your speaker system. I know that when I'm lurking in my car driving, I'm listening. This is good for allergies. I used most of the year. It was a game changer for me. Oh, nice. I don't have that one. I have I have this one, and then I have one. I forgot the name of the other one. It's a new one. You put a little pill inside the thing, and then you puncture the pill, and then you suck it in. And that one, to me, so far has been the best one. Like when actually, it's been weeks since I've used this. It's been a couple of weeks. I haven't had to use it in a bit, but we did have a little bit of smoke come in last night. Not much, so but it still affects, you know, because the fire from all the coniferous trees, and there's all the sap. I think it makes a lot of like kind of chemically smelling smoke, you know. Yeah, so we can, like I was talking about, we don't have to become their happiness, their future, anything with the person. I'm just going back into the whole conversation, you know. We can be just us, messy, complicated, sometimes tired, sometimes annoying, sometimes grumpy, sometimes easy going, sometimes, you know, dumb and all this. Sometimes we can leave a wet towel on the floor, you know, and that's okay, you know. How are we doing, Sushi? We're good. Jealous, as far as I know, there's only a road named after my family. Oh, really? We have a lake named after a strand of my family. Oh, wow, that is so cool. That's awesome. I'm gonna actually put a little something special here in the chat. There you go. A big Canada heart. I love that. I'm doing good, Turk. Just having a little conversation about limerence. Yeah. So, you know, so all of that made me wonder if that's part of the difference between really loving somebody and then loving the idea of somebody, because I feel like real love eventually has to make room for the actual human being, because we all have flaws. Nobody's like flawless player here, you know. Mr. Flawless player, super flawless there. We all have flaws, we're not him. So, and you know, there's a thing about, you know, respect over the other person's limitations, and that all fits in. But when you have that fantasy, the romanticizing of that person, and then eventually the real stuff happens, like the real life, it's you know. So haha, flawless player. Yeah. Okay, so I am having a beer, so I have to tinkle now. So I'm gonna let you guys listen to lo-fi, I guess. Same with friendships too. Exactly. Yeah, I'm a very loyal friend, you know. I'm feeling good, just waiting to clock in for work right now. Oh yes, guys, I'm so sorry, I have to tinkle, but I'll be right back. Okay, Liz, you gonna keep them company? Hi, pretty girl. Hi. I need to sit here too, girly. Can you give me some room? Can you give me some room? Move over. Thank you. Lizzie, she just takes over my seat here, you know? She's been here with me this whole time, but she's behind me. I need some room. She's just sitting here. She sits behind me. Hey, you gonna say hi? Hi. I'm Lizzie. I'm a baby. She never leaves me alone, no. She's a baby. Yeah, your baby? Yeah. She's very soft. She does, and she's just like really cuddly. She's almost like she becomes a rag doll in your arms, you know? It's so cute. she does love her mom big time. She does, yeah. That's right. But one of the things that I wanted to say to talk about this is like Lilu. No, that's Lizzie. Joe, that's Lizzie. Lilu is the gray one. Lilu is actually super comfy underneath the bed. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about. She doesn't like camera time. No, it's kind of bright. I think it's probably too bright for her. Lilu isn't big on cuddles. No, Lilu doesn't like cuddles. Lilu doesn't, but Lizzie loves the cuddles, man. She wakes me up early for the cuddles. Yeah, ooh. She's all up in my face. Like she in the morning, that's what she does. Like she sticks her face in me. It's just like so, she's kind of crazy like that, you know? But I wanted to talk about Fantasy Steve, okay? So there's another way I think this could show up too, you know, that I found really interesting. And when I was learning about this, I kind of like, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's totally what that person is like. So that's why they can't stay in a relationship, you know? So what happens when we are ready in a relationship, but we keep doing this with other people? And I don't mean like finding somebody attractive, you know, we're humans, you know, being in a relationship doesn't mean everybody else on the earth is like a freaking potato, you know, and like an ugly potato to be, you know. We can notice people, and we could even have like a random little crush. That alone doesn't mean, you know, there's something wrong. I'm talking about when it becomes a pattern, you know. So we get into a relationship, everything's exciting, and then eventually the relationship becomes real. There's laundry to do, there's bills. Oh, Flawless, thank you for giving GMO a sub. Appreciate it. Yay! Yeah. Thank you. Daddy Ong needs a sushi next to his name. What? A sushi next to his name? How does that work? I don't know how that works. Oh, the sushi! The little nigiri. Oh, yes. Nice. The badge. Okay, I got it. Thank you so much for gifting Grandmaster Ong the sub. I appreciate that. Your 9-month badge. Yes, that's right. A little onigiri. So cute. So yeah, so what happens when the relationship becomes the real deal? You know, there's laundry, bills, you know, somebody gets grumpy, somebody chews too freaking loud, you know. There's, you know, there could be the boring Tuesday where nobody's, you know, staring into anybody's eyes because we're too, you know, busy trying to figure out what we're having for dinner. All of that stuff, you know. And then all of a sudden, somebody new comes along. Ooh, mystery, possibility, excitement. You know, we don't know their annoying habits. You know, they've never disappointed us. We haven't had like a shitty argument with them. So our imagination kind of gets to fill in all the blanks again. And now we're comparing, you know, our real partner, flaws, moods, habits, and all, you know, to somebody who just exists, you know, in a way inside, you know, our imagination. That's the one part a lot of people have a hard time getting past by the reality of a relationship. Exactly. It's you know, things are shallow, and that's comfortable. That's like, you know, and yeah, I have been in a relationship that everything had to be shallow all the time. Otherwise, it was like, you know, yeah, when things got serious, when real life came, it was not good. Everything had to be very shallow all the time. And I'm a real person. Okay? I like real stuff. I like real stuff, you know. It doesn't mean that it has to, you know, be shitty and hurt and all that. But you know, reality, it's beautiful. We're humans, you know. Good advice to watch for. Yeah. So I was talking about like, you know, so it's not a fair fight when you have that real person with you, and then this new person comes in, and then they're like, all this mystery that's going on. It's not a fair fight, you know, because of course Fantasy Steve is gonna be amazing, you know. Fantasy Steve is gonna know exactly what to say, you know. Fantasy Steve understands us, you know, and Fantasy Steve can never do anything wrong. You know. And but also Fantasy Steve and you didn't actually assemble any IKEA furniture together when we were both hangry, you know. So let's put Fantasy Steve through that, and then we'll talk. You know what I mean? But seriously, what if sometimes we get really attached to the feeling of falling for somebody, you know, the butterflies, the wondering, you know, the anticipation, and then when a relationship becomes safe, familiar, and predictable, I think sometimes we think that something is missing, you know. Then somebody new gives us that feeling, and then we're like, there it is, there it is. That's what love is supposed to be like, right? I don't know, but is it? Is it? Or is that what new feels like, you know? Come on. People are entire things. We're messy and we have ugly. We all have, but we embrace them. We embrace them, right? Embrace those parts. We have to embrace both sides of us, you know. We acknowledge them. We acknowledge they exist. Can we do something? Lurk, happy Mental Health Monday. Sushi, thank you. Thank you, Caterpie, for the lurk. Thank you so much. Yeah, and you know, obviously sometimes relationships are not right. Obviously, you know, sometimes people grow apart, and sometimes we're unhappy. Sometimes, you know, we learn, you know, that we're not really, you know, we don't really click that way. Hi Vince, how are you? Happy Monday to you too. You know, and sometimes leaving a relationship is absolutely the right thing to do. You know, I'm talking about the pattern though, like the person, the fantasy, and all that stuff. I'm not talking about when a relationship isn't safe and then you leave, and or sometimes you grow apart. You know, sometimes they have different goals and they don't really, they're not good. Oh, hi Canada, hi Chaos Lord, welcome in, first time chatter. Guys, we're 152 from 2K. Oh my gosh, can you believe that? Look at that. Canada, oh, Canada, oh, you guys know each other. Welcome in. It's also because most people are in it for lust, which is not the right way to go. No, you gotta look at the reality of the person, you know? So not fantasy, you know? Because the new person is a fantasy. And if that keeps happening, you know, maybe it's worth, you know, getting a little curious about the whole pattern, right? The whole pattern. I just signed up for Pizza Party. Oh my gosh, congratulations. Welcome in. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for taking the time. It's Mental Health Monday today. So we do a lot of talking, and today's topic is limerence. You know, the fantasy, you know, the idea of somebody and the fantasy that we put, you know, in our minds about the person. So welcome. Pizza Party is so much fun. It is fun. Yeah. Exactly right, right? So yeah, so you gotta think about it. You gotta get curious. So is it a pattern, or is it like, so what's going on, right? Or do I keep falling, you know? So am I constantly meeting the wrong people, or do I keep falling for people while they're still mostly an idea, you know? And here is the question that really got me. What if we're really good at falling in love, but we struggle with staying around long enough to actually love a real person? You know? Sorry. So I'm gonna ask the question again. What if we're really good at falling in love, but we struggle staying around long enough to actually love a real person? Because eventually real intimacy, okay, means seeing somebody's flaws and letting them see your flaws, our flaws, right? And maybe some of us that's actually scarier than fantasy. Fantasy is safe in a weird way. Think about it, you know, we control it. Real people, we don't. They have needs, they have boundaries, they disagree with us, they disappoint us, you know, they see our flaws. And then I think that maybe ultimately they get to decide if they want us to. And that's vulnerable, right? That's really, really vulnerable. So maybe sometimes fantasy, it's not only about chasing love. Maybe sometimes it's also, it keeps us kind of a little bit protected from the scary parts of actually being loved. Ugh. And again, we're not going, oh my God, I do this, I'm terrible. No, we're just noticing our shit, you know, like that's it, because we can't really change a pattern we don't know we're in. But it's kind of like, it's interesting. I find it really interesting. I find it fascinating, you know? So, and I think that brings me to the part of this whole thing I probably care about the most. Healing, you know? Not, how do I get this person out of my freaking head by like tomorrow, you know? More like, why did this person become so big in the first place? How did that get allowed to happen, you know? And sometimes, you know, there doesn't have to be some huge, you know, psychological moment, you know, or reason. You know, sometimes we're just really freaking like somebody, you know. Sometimes chemistry is chemistry. We don't really need to turn every crush into childhood trauma, but sometimes maybe there is something underneath it, you know. Maybe we're lonely, maybe life feels a little bit empty, you know, maybe we've lost some purpose, you know, maybe we're a little bored, you know what I mean? Or maybe like we don't feel great about ourselves right now, and you know, suddenly somebody comes along and now there's something to look forward to, you know what I mean? And maybe, you know, they're gonna message, maybe we'll see them, maybe something will happen. There's a spark again, except like slowly the spark is coming from our life anymore, it's coming from them. And that's a lot for one human being to carry. It's a lot, you know, it's heavy, you know. And I think that's where self-love comes into this for me, you know. Been with the wife for 20 years and married for 14, but completely agree with you. Yeah, it takes like relationship like this, it's work, you know. You gotta work on it, it's a commitment that you make, and it's a choice that you make, you know. So I think that with the self-love, I know that, you know, self-love, just love yourself. Oh, okay, thank you, Susan, problem solved, you know. No, it's not I'm gonna take a bubble bath and heal every day, you know. I'm gonna heal every attachment issues by going for a walk in the forest and or come home and have a bubble bath and a glass of wine, you know. I don't think the self-love works that way, you know. I think that sometimes self-love is like really boring shit, you know. Keeping promises to ourselves, you know, taking care of our body, going outside, calling a friend, I don't know, making something, creating something, you know, having plans, you know, that excites us. I don't know. Or maybe just building a life that still feels like our life, rather than a life that somebody else chose for us, you know. And I think purpose matters a ton, you know. When we have things that matter to us, people we care about, stuff we're working towards, and little things that makes us excited to wake up and get up, you know. One person doesn't have to carry the whole entire weight of making our life meaningful. You can't give somebody that responsibility ever, you know what I mean? Things are either slowing growing or slowly dying. Slowly growing or slowly dying. Yes, exactly. But it's a choice to make. That, you know, it's a choice that we make, you know. Furiosa, welcome in. And I think that for some of us, there could also be, you know, older stuff underneath our relationship patterns as well, you know. Maybe, you know, affection wasn't always consistent growing up, you know. maybe we had to work for attention. Maybe being chosen or needed became really important for us because of that. And it doesn't mean that like limerence equals childhood trauma, you know, although there are videos that do say that. I think having childhood traumas doesn't mean somebody will experience limerence. That's not what I'm saying. You know, we're way too complicated for all that crap, you know what I mean? Like plants gotta show them care to grow or they die. You gotta show yourself care too, exactly, right? Didn't like Dave say something like that the other day? He was talking about, yeah, he was talking about a houseplant, having a houseplant, and like, I forgot. Treat yourself like a houseplant. Yes, that's what he said the other day. Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, so there could be, you know, other stuff under, you know, it's just like, yeah. It's just we can be curious about that. I think it's important to get curious, you know, instead of shaming people, shaming ourselves, you know, instead of going like, holy crap, why am I like this? Maybe we just like, what does this person represent to me? You know, why do I feel when they give me attention? What am I hoping they could give me? What am I hoping this person will make me feel about myself? You know, because maybe we want them to make us feel lovable, interesting, safe, you know, wanted enough, you know. And if we find something like that underneath all of this, it's not embarrassing. That's something we can work with. It's just about being aware of it, you know. And I think, you know, I joked about tonight about, you know, staring at our phones and wondering why somebody hasn't texted all, you know, and that all that crap, you know. And honestly, I haven't had to worry about romance in a really long time. It's been about 7 years for me, like I said at the beginning of the stream. And at this point of my life, I really don't think I would ever allow myself to get lost in somebody like that ever again, you know, because that's when it hurts. That's when you get heartbroken, you know, is when you allow yourself, you put, you know, you get your happiness and then you put in somebody else's hand, you know. And it's not because I'm cold. It's not because I don't believe in love. I love love. I mean, like, losing myself in somebody, I love myself too much now, and it took me a long freaking time to be able to say that. I love myself too much to be able to lose myself in somebody else's life, you know. I love my life. I know who I am, you know. I have a purpose. I have people I love. I have things I want to create. I have things I want to do. I have things I want to experience, you know, things I still want to learn. I'm learning so much. I love learning, you know. And so if somebody comes into my life one day, I don't want them to become my life. I want them to be somebody I get to share my life with, you know? And I think there's a huge difference there, you know? To me, self-love is not thinking we're freaking fantastic or anything like that, you know, every second of every day. I don't like wake up in the mirror, you know, every morning and look in the mirror, holy shit, Sushi, you've done it again, you know. Some mornings I'm like, holy crap, man, what's going on here, you know. To me, self-love is knowing that I'm not willing to abandon myself anymore. I'm not willing to rearrange my entire worth around if somebody chooses me or not. And maybe that's part of like healing from this kind of thing too, you know what I mean? Not becoming somebody who never falls hard again, maybe just not disappearing when we do, kind of thing, you know what I mean? Oh, what's going on? They need to add to it, not become your life for sure. Yes, exactly. It's a teamwork, right? I don't even know what happened here, but hey fam, this is Mental Health Monday. First time chat, Drippy Daryl. I big myself up in the mirror while I brush my teeth in the mirror. You pump yourself up, you're like, yeah, you got this, you got this. Yeah, no, for sure. Welcome in. Drippy Adderall. Drippy Adderall. Oh, I love your name. That's funny. Drippy Adderall. Oh my gosh. Adderall is, it's like, isn't Adderall like a ADHD medication, I think? Isn't it? I'm pretty sure. I think. Yes, that's right. Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. That's funny. Internet died again? That's not a good sign. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I appreciate it. Welcome. Yes. So, yeah. What do you guys think about this stuff? That's the weird stuff I've been thinking about this week. I watched one video about limerence and apparently I decided to question the entire concept of relationship, of romantic love beside with you guys, Very normal Monday, Sky is orange brown, so I look at the fire map after stream. Oh no, that's not good. It sounds wonderful, Sushi. I haven't taken ADHD medication in a while. Actually, it's been a couple of months. I usually do it when I'm homeschooling a little bit here and there. Not very often, but I have the one that the one that I liked that I thought was good was dextroamphetamine. Just a tiny piece of it gets you, like, your brain just gets really focused. It's quite amazing, But coffee does that to me a lot of times too. It's just different, Yeah, so I wanted to, like, okay, hold on. I'm gonna do something. So let's go to scene. Okay, so is this one?
Take my
No, wait a second, dude. Don't start yet. Just chill, okay? I thought this guy was funny, You guys want to see this? Okay, hold on. Let me just move this guy just a teddy tad. How do I unlock this? Okay, let's go. Aw, hold on. Let me just, I'm gonna, it's okay. I would do this like that, okay? This is all right, right? This is okay, right? Yeah, that works, right? Yeah, let's bring it up a bit. Okay, here we go. I think that's good. Coffee is the best way to self-medicate. I agree. Yeah. Oh, Ritalin messed me up. I don't like Ritalin one bit. My mom took it, messed her up too. But if I have something I'm working on that needs like really full attention, and then I'll take a quarter, sometimes half, of one. They gave me, they were supposed to take a full one. I'm like, I can't take a full one. This is crazy. This is too much. You know what I mean? Anyways, so this guy is funny. I want you guys to have a look. Okay, hold on. Okay, how do I do this? Hold on. Ta-da! All right. Let me stop the music, actually. Hold on. Okay, so there's this guy and there's another lady. I'll show you guys. Been drinking a pot of coffee a day for years, and I'm only mostly out there. It's weird with ADHD. They act different on different people. They really, really do. I am overall a very sensitive person to drugs. Like, it affects me a lot harder than everybody else. I'm very sensitive to them. So I avoid them at all costs, as much as I can. I don't like taking meds at all. Not even for, like, when I have massive headaches, I usually take a shower. I let, the water, nice warm water in my head. I get under the blanket. I get comfy, Yeah. Same with my endometriosis. Sometimes I have very painful. Oh, it's horrible. Sometimes my blood pressure goes down. And if I feel like I'm gonna faint, that's when I take meds. I let it go that far. Anyway. Me too. I get weird side effects. Yes, I get so many side effects with drugs, like antibiotics, all kinds of stuff. But anyways, this guy is kind of funny. I thought he was funny. Let me turn it up. Okay, here we go.
Take my heart, give him a rinse. It's a perfect night for some limerence. Love is quite the sweet sensation. Love has all my admiration. Well, who needs any declaration? Love is much more safe when it's in my imagination. Take my heart, give him a rinse. It's a perfect night for some limerence. Take my heart, give him a rinse. It's a perfect night for some limerence. Love is quite the sweet sensation.
Anyway, I thought
really
it was
do.
funny. But now, there's this one. Poor girl.
They really do. I hate how fast I can fucking romanticize people.
Welcome to limerence, baby. So limerence is just a deep infatuation with somebody in a very short amount of time without really knowing them. And the problem is that it feels like love. And so when that limerent object doesn't work out, which oftentimes it doesn't, because when you're obsessed with someone, very rarely are you actually connecting with them, then of course it's hell in a handbasket. But what's actually happening here is it's just your brain braining. When you're in limerence, your cortisol is spiking and your dopamine is dropping. And when your dopamine drops below baseline, you will do anything, well, your brain will naturally to survive in order to replenish that dopamine. That includes being obsessive about somebody else because it's constantly giving you that fix. Remember, dopamine is a reward drug, so you get that in anticipation of. Mixed with your nervous system. When you're dysregulated and you're starting to fantasize and idealize, oftentimes what's happening is you're more so in your amygdala than you are in the prefrontal cortex, and your nervous system is dysregulated. And when you're dysregulated, you're often perceiving that there is a threat, and this is your safety. That person that you have is what's going to keep you safe, and they're what's going to save you. And usually that comes from childhood core beliefs and childhood traumas and wounds. And what broke my heart about this video, she kept saying, I hate this about myself. I hate this. And the more that you hate, shame, and blame yourself for having these natural parts of being a human, the further away from healing you actually are. What's important here is to start to look at how old do I feel when I'm having this intense reaction to somebody I literally don't know? Do I feel like the adult or do I feel like a child? Regulate your nervous system. Come back to the present moment. And remember, this isn't your caregivers. These are random people you're meeting on the internet.
They really do.
What do you think of that? Interesting, huh? I thought that was pretty interesting. Anyways, I like her take on it. You know, what do you guys think? Grandmaster Ong is like very interesting. Yeah, yeah. I would even watch that again. That short again. It's good. It's good to see that stuff and like to understand that stuff a bit, you know?
I feel like
Take my heart.
Yeah, that guy needs less coffee for sure, but I love it. I love people when they're like that, you know? That's like, it's, you know, he's feeling the feelings. He's excited to talk about that. I don't know. I thought that was pretty fun. Oh, 85 stream streak. Holy moly. Macaroni. Flawless. 85 stream streak. Let's go. Thank you. Thank you. It's cool. Love it. 50 more to 100. Yes, exactly. $50 more. Almost there. Yeah. I think Flawless probably has the biggest one. Shiv Buckets, hello. Typical Monday. Yeah. Oh, 2.5 hours to go, Master Ong. Let's go. Let's go. You're almost there. You're almost there. Come on, come on. I could say I'll stay for 2.5 hours and entertain you, but I'm not an entertainer. Oh! Typical Monday. How are we doing, miss? I'm doing good. You know, I'm doing Mental Health Monday a little bit different today. Little bit different. Oopsie. Oh no. So today we are talking about limerence, and I was gonna have it outside beside a fire drinking a beer, but we're in a state of emergency in BC, so we can't have a fire. And even like my smoker, I'm allowed to use my smoker outside, but the wood chips that I was gonna use are not allowed. So I decided to just stay in. It's nice and cool in here, so I'm inside. But I'm still having a brewski. It's just a 2.0, you know, Guelph, from Guelph. And so Yeah. But there is one more video if you guys want to get a little bit deeper into this whole limerence thing. I thought the video was fantastic. Since it says it's called 6 Ways to Beat Limerence Heartache. So it's a 12-minute video if you guys want to watch. I can be right here with you guys. But, you know, like I said about, you know, this whole thing I took about staying in Also Good. Yes, it's so nice and cooling here. I love it. Even, and I switched the lights off my PC. So the fans are running, but the lights are off. You know, just, it's cooling here. It's nice. Got busy and supporting. Oh, good. Good. It's good to be busy, you know? Yeah. It's good, but sometimes it's nice to just get a little bit of time to just chill, isn't it? I love to find time to chill. Malik, oh my gosh, how are you doing, Malik? It's been a while. How have you been? I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Malik. It's been a bit. It has been a bit. I haven't seen you on. I haven't seen Mason either on. I haven't seen a lot of people on that, you know, used to be on all the time. Yeah. It's been a bit, but it's okay. Yeah. So I'm doing good, just chilling as always. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing well. I'm doing well, thank you. Yeah. So, yeah, I think the biggest thing out of all of this, you know, that kind of stuck with me, the whole like the idea love you thing, you know, it stuck with me a little bit. I love learning about people and behaviors and stuff like that, because I think like sometimes we can get to spend so much time trying to figure somebody else out. You know, what are they thinking? What are they feeling? Why didn't they text? Why did they text? Why did they say that? You know, why did they look mean? Why did they make that face, you know? Or like, are they thinking about me? Do they miss me? Do they want me? And then we don't ask ourselves anything about ourselves, and like, how am I doing? What do I need? You know, what am I missing right now? You know, what makes me excited about my life? When was the last time I did something just because I freaking love doing it, right? Maybe that's where we can bring some of that attention back, you know? Not because caring about people is bad. Not because, you know, falling hard for somebody is bad. Mm-mm. And definitely not because there's something wrong with us. Mm-mm. No. You know, if we experience this or anything, you know? Oh, my sushi, your topics are always what I need to hear. Oh, thank you. Hi, Kaiser. Yeah, zero self-awareness, Dave. Yes, it can be that way. But, you know, it's, like I said, I'm not here to judge anybody in any way. Well, I think we all have experienced this in one way or another. Like, we're humans, right? We get attached. We fantasize. We want to be wanted, right? We want connections. Sometimes our brain takes that and completely fucking rogue. You know what I mean? It happens. It happens. But maybe when somebody starts taking up a lot of space in our head, instead of just immediately asking, how do I get them? Do they want me? You know, maybe we can just ask, what am I actually looking for in there? You know? And I really think that question, I like that question. I think I like that question because I feel like there's no bad answer to it. Maybe we're lonely, maybe we're bored, like I said before, no, maybe we're just craving affection, you know? And I'm gonna bet my back. It's been 7 years for me, okay? Almost 7 years. So it's gonna be 7 years in just a couple of months here. you know, maybe we want excitement, you know, maybe we really like, maybe we just really like them, you know, and that's allowed too. We don't want to have to turn anything into a freaking hurt, you know. Sometimes a crush is just a freaking crush, you know what I mean? I'm trying to redirect the attention to myself again, so easily distracted. Yeah, it can be. I think, honestly, being a single parent, it changes your mind a bit. It changes your brain a little bit, you know? At least it did for me. I have someone that I need to care for all the time, you know? And he's my priority, you know? He is. And I think that if someone comes along, you know, romantically that way, they are always going to have to understand that until Vincent is an adult, he's priority, you know? Yeah. So, but yeah, into bubbles, I had to give myself a few taps in the back because, you know, sometimes it can be like really, 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 how you say, I think especially at the beginning, it was really, how do you say, tempting, or like, yes, sometimes, you know, you can, I don't know, yeah, it can be tempting, you know, to just, I don't know, have friends with benefits kind of thing. But, you know, I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to just have that. So, and my life is a little different. So, W, thinking, and you are correct because you know your priorities. Yeah, exactly. We all have our priorities, and we have to, you know. And again, a crush is a crush sometimes, so we don't have to make a big deal out of everything, right? But she's more respectful. Any Bing Bing. Any Bing Bing. Hello, Any Bing Bing. Welcome in. Hi, Flawless Playa. Thanks again for the collab. Oh, yes. Any Bing Bing. Right. I'm like, I know that name. Hold on. I know that name. Welcome in, Any Bing Bing. She's more respectful. Yes. Yeah. So, like, yeah. So, we don't have to, you know, make a big deal out of everything. But if we notice that we're disappearing into somebody else, maybe that's when we come back and check with ourselves. You know what I mean? I think that's important. And I think that's kind of like what healing means in a way too. In this whole conversation, you know, not becoming so independent that we never need anybody. Fuck that. You know, I love people. We need people. You know, connection is beautiful, love is beautiful, but there's a difference between sharing our life with somebody and asking somebody to become our life. That's two different things, you know what I mean? And maybe the goal isn't like stopping fantasizing forever or never get ridiculously excited about somebody again. You know, I hope we do get ridiculously excited about people. That's part of being alive, you know? Maybe we just learn how to keep, you know, one foot in reality while we're doing that, you know what I mean? So, like, something like, you know, you're freaking wonderful and I don't actually know everything about you yet, and really, I really want this, you know, and I'm still okay if it doesn't happen. I love having you in my life, and I still have a life that's mine, and I think that's healthy, you know what I mean? And, you know, if we're on the other side of somebody's feelings, maybe we remember that too. You know, we can be kind without becoming somebody's fantasy. You know, we can care without promising something we don't actually want, you know, which they call it leading on. You know, people say, oh, they're leading me on. You know, and sometimes the kindest thing we can do is to just be honest about who we really are and what we can actually give. Because none of us deserve to spend our whole life trying to become the person somebody invented in their head. And none of us deserve to spend our whole life wanting to waiting for like an imaginary version of somebody else to finally show up either, you know? So, I don't know. Maybe that's just a little thing to think about this week. I don't know. And there's a thing too, like, think about this. I noticed this so many times in so many, like, I've been in a few relationships, right? A handful? No, not a handful. Yeah, there you go. And I noticed one thing about people when it's the early stages of relationships. We're all trying to impress each other. We're trying to look good, right? And then when things get serious, the true us come out, and then it's like a huge turn off, you know? So why waste it? Why waste all this time? Why waste time and energy pretending to be something we're not? Right? Because eventually the mask's gonna fall off. You can't only keep a mask for so long. You can only keep their appearances for so long. What a waste of time and energy, like seriously. You know what I mean? Be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself. If they don't like you, they're not for you. Okay? Period. You know? So let's think about that, you know? Once upon a time, we were young and we thought it was important to impress people. Yeah. Snoozy, we're talking about limerence. Fantasizing people, you know, like when we see someone and we know them a little bit and then, but, you know, we believe this person's like, we get this fixation and this romanticizing of this person, you know? Kind of like, it could be like obsessive in ways too for some people, you know? But me, my specialty, romanticizing people. Aww. Oh, you know, we all been there. We all done it, right? And it could go both ways. We could have been the object of somebody's fixation, and we could have, you know, fixate on other people. And it's just good to be curious about that stuff. If we're not judging anybody, we're not judging ourselves, we're not bashing ourselves up about it if we've done it, and, you know, if we still do it or anything like that. It's just about being aware, getting curious, you know, just asking questions, basically, you know? That's it. So, is there anybody in our life that we've turned into a bit of an idea? Is there? And maybe even more importantly, is there anything we're hoping that person will give us that we could start building a little bit for ourselves? Think about it. We don't have to answer that in chat, by the way. It's just some stuff can just stay between us over here. It's fine. Just think about it a little bit. That's all. So I'm gonna show that video, the 6 ways to beat limerence heartache. I thought it was a good video. It's 12 minutes long, but you know, yeah. So listen to it. I think that it's good to understand that stuff. Once upon a time, yeah, but then a lot of self-reflection and time changed that. That's good. It's good. It's really good. That's really, really good. I'm gonna stop the music really quick, and this is the last thing, the last video that I'm gonna show today. I thought, oh, now I have to change this thing again. Okay, I'll bring it over here. Let's see. So she likes it nice and neat. Gotta have it nice and neat. And I'm gonna make myself tiny over here. You don't need a big sushi in the screen, just a little one over there. That's enough. And I'm gonna have to go pee anyway, so, but I'm gonna show this video. Okay, I'm gonna have my volume really up, so I'm gonna so I wanna be able to hear from the bathroom. Oh, butterfly! Oh, flawless. Oh, butterfly, okay. Butterfly. I'll put it like maybe on this side this time. I don't know. Maybe like right here. Butterfly. There you go. Butterfly. There you go. Perfecto. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna put the video on. I'm gonna put on mute, and I'm gonna turn my volume up so I can hear from the bathroom, all right? Because I gotta go tinkle again. All right.
Limerence is a state of intense romantic infatuation that feels like you're addicted to another person. It can be a burden at any time, but times like Valentine's Day really bring those moments of romantic pain into sharp relief. Maybe you're suffering with unrequited love, or maybe forbidden love, or maybe you're just trying to bond with someone who's giving you mixed messages and uncertain commitment, and you end up trapped in a state of kind of limerence limbo where you're unable to get closer but you're also unwilling to give up. Well, getting over limerence is a massive task, but there are some concrete things that you can do to improve the situation. So for anyone suffering right now with heartache this Valentine's Day, here are 6 big steps that you can take to adjust your mindset about what limerence is and what it means for your life. And these should give you some immediate relief from the pain and help set you up for longer term recovery. Hi, my name is Tom Bellamy and I'm a neuroscientist and writer. And for 8 years now, I've been blogging all about limerence at livingwithlimerence.com. And over those years, we've built up a huge database of knowledge about the experience of limerence, that altered state of mind of romantic obsession, and how to recover from it. One of the critical steps in getting rid of unwanted limerence is to get into what could be called a recovery mindset. And there are 6 key insights that really help to kind of shift your thinking into that new perspective. The 6 important concepts that begin to reverse the mental programming of limerence. So let's go through them. Okay, so the first principle is that limerence is happening in your head. So limerence fundamentally is about neurochemistry. It feels spectacular, but that feeling is coming from within you. That means the recovery process has to happen in your head too. You are ultimately the only one who can reverse it, but that also means that you do have the power to do so. So it's probably been entirely unwitting on your part, but what's happened is that you've gradually trained yourself into limerence, into a habit, and it's possible to train yourself out of that habit as well. So a crucial first step in recovery is accepting that the problem is yours to own, but that you can solve it. Okay, principle number 2, which is linked into the previous idea, is that they are not that special. So your limerent object is special, but only because they trigger your limerent response. So obviously somebody who can make you feel ecstatic just by being with them, or crush your dreams with a cold word, is special, but it's you that makes them special. They seem magnificent because of the way that you respond to them. But actually, of course, they are just an ordinary person. It's unromantic to accept this, and it kind of spoils the story that you might be telling yourself about your limerence. But you have to see them clearly if you want to free yourself from their magnetic attraction. Now, you'll likely experience significant emotional resistance to this idea, to this reality of seeing them as a whole person, but that's your romance-addled limerent mind talking. Intellectually, you know they're only special because you make them so. So the third concept is that you can't just be friends. Okay, this one hurts. So it's a shame. It's probably the biggest loss associated with limerence is if your limerent object is a genuinely good person, then of course you want to try and maintain a relationship with them. And a friendship seems like the obvious choice. Now you might find yourself sort of bargaining on this and saying, well, I'm not going to let limerence decide who I can be friends with, or I'm not going to let down a friend just because I've got a crush on them. But the ultimate truth of the situation is that you will always want more from them. So they trigger something very deep in you. They trigger patterns of behavior that you learned in your past because they're connecting to subconscious needs, which you might never fully understand, but shape your sensibility to romance. So seeking friendship with a limerent object that you're infatuated with is generally a lost cause. You can't be an authentic friend to someone that you're infatuated with. It isn't good for either of you to try and keep that inauthentic friendship going. You're trying to do two contradictory things: build an emotional bond while turning off romantic desire. And it's just not feasible to be friends with somebody like that until you have overcome the limerence for them. You need space and distance to get your head straight. Otherwise, if you look at limerence like an addiction, it's a bit like an alcoholic trying to get sober through social drinking. It's not a very convincing plan. Okay, so concept number 4 is that you can't predict how they will behave. So most limerents feel an extraordinary sense of emotional connection to their limerent object, and that misleads them into believing that they really know them. Now, don't fool yourself into believing that you can predict how they will react to what you say or do, because almost by definition, limerents have a distorted view of their limerent object. Their judgment is impaired because they're in an altered state of mind. And the idealization of a limerent object means that you're not really seeing them clearly. You're projecting a lot of your own hopes and romantic dreams onto them. And the version of the limerent object that lives in your head is not the same as the real person that lives in the world. And unfortunately, many limerents have had the awful experience of thinking that they understand how their limerent object is going to react to something that they say or do, and then feeling that rush of embarrassment when their limerent object does something very different and very unpredictable. They had a kind of romantic movie running in their heads, but the limerent object doesn't have the script and ruins everything. Okay, principle number 5, you can only control your own behavior. If you want the limerence to stop, you have to take on the responsibility of stopping it. Another really common mistake is to think that you can persuade other people to behave in a way that you believe would make your life easier. You might think that, say, asking your limerent object not to text or call you anymore after a certain time, or if they're feeling lonely, or asking them to tell you how they really feel about you so you can get some closure. You might believe that that's going to help, but it probably won't. So if you have a limerent object who's giving you mixed messages or kind of uncertain commitment, you'll probably just continue to get that behavior. So they'll say things like, well, life's really complicated for me at the moment, or you know, I do care about you, but can't we just keep things simple and fun for now? So that keeps hope alive, but also keeps uncertainty alive, and it traps you in that state of limbo, that you think that by steering them into behaving in the way that you want, your limerence will subside, but that very rarely happens. Alternatively, maybe you're married or committed to somebody else, and by asking your husband or wife to spend more time with you or go on more date nights or spice things up a bit, you might be able to take your mind off that other person who shouldn't be occupying it. But again, none of this is actually the solution. Any plan that requires somebody else to change things to make your life easier is ultimately doomed to fail, because you have to look to yourself for the solution, because limerence is an internal battle. And finally, principle number 6 is about looking to the future. You have to believe that there's a better life ahead. So there's a lot of hope and excitement tied up in limerence. It's all about romantic possibility. But if you've got to the point of realizing that it's gone toxic and turned into person addiction, that's a big loss to face. So the hope of bliss, the promise of opportunity is fading away. And that's hugely demoralizing, especially if you are actively looking for love. So a final step in the mindset shift to recovery is to find new sources of hope, new rewards to seek out, and to recover a sense of purpose about your life. So living with purpose means you stop depending on the limerent object for comfort, and you stop following their lead, and you stop letting their behavior dictate your mood. So to recover fully, there has to be a prospect of a happier future that you can direct your efforts towards. So that last mindset shift is all about seeking new purpose to focus your energy and your hopes upon. Look at your life and think about, where are the major points of pain? What are the unfulfilled dreams that you have that maybe you've set to one side whilst you tied yourself up in limerence limbo in the hope that that would be the solution to the problem? So think about the opportunity costs of the things that you've not been able to do while you've been caught up in this infatuation. Then think about what would actually give you a lasting sense of purpose and a lasting sense of happiness. It might be about relationships, or it might be about work, or it might be about health. It might be some soul-nourishing hobby or pursuit or charitable endeavor. Obviously, it's a very personal thing to try and identify these purposeful goals that you can work towards. But it's really important to leave limerence in the past and look at it as a stage in life that you're now working beyond into a phase of personal renewal where you're finding something new and positive to work towards. Okay, so those are the 6 critical mindset shifts that get you ready and can help with recovery from limerence. But obviously there's a lot more to the story than that. Now, if you are in a mess with limerence and you need urgent help to escape, I do have an online course that is specifically designed to help deprogram you out of that altered state of mind quickly and efficiently, and help plan for a more purposeful future. So there's a link in the description below for those people who think that they would benefit from that course. But there's lots of free resources available at livingwithlimerence.com too. So head over there to the resources page to find more information about how to recover from limerence. Okay, that's it. So for anyone suffering with limerence this Valentine's Day, or any other day that you're watching this really, I wish you strength, and I hope that this video has helped. Thanks a lot for watching. Subscribe if you'd like more, and I'll see you next time. Getting stuck in romantic obsession.
That's not what I meant to do. But this guy, he talks a lot about this stuff. I think that's actually what he... Yeah, that's what he... Yeah. Yeah, he talks about this subject. That's all he specializes on. Yeah, this is interesting.
Limerence
That's
is
all.
a
Oops,
state
sorry,
of intense romantic...
Stop. I don't want to repeat you. I want to put this on now. Okay. Yeah. So I thought it was interesting. I thought it was really interesting. And it's interesting that, yeah, he specializes in that. That's interesting. Yeah, a lot of good relationship advice for sure from that guy. I appreciate that, you know? I thought it was really good. So yeah, I'm glad you guys watched it with me, because I think there's a lot to learn, and not a way of like judging or anything like that, more in the way of becoming aware of it, from, you know, being a person that someone has that fixation on, or vice versa. It's just important to just be aware and just let curiosity take you places, kind of thing, you know? You got a coffee? I was so locked in, I loaded Twitch on my phone while I got a coffee. Nice. I'm glad that there was, I think that that was a good video. I like it. Yeah, I found other ones too, but I feel like some videos can like label people, and they can become a little bit judgmental. And I thought that some of it was kind of like, I don't like, you know, putting labels and judging people, because I think that I like how beautiful being humans is. It's beautiful how different we are, although we're all connected. We're all in this place together, but we're all different, and I love that's what makes life so interesting. And it's not like, I'm a very accepting person. I just, it's important to not let people hurt you because of that stuff too. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think super important for people who on the online space as well and being parasocial. Oh my gosh, this is exactly why when I watched that video, I'm like, I gotta turn it into a mental health Monday. I was gonna talk about grief, you know, and I had all my little bullet notes and everything until, you know, I stumbled upon this. I'm always watching different videos on YouTube, and I like watching Lewis House a lot and the Diary of a CEO, and like I like watching those podcasts every once in a while. So when I stumbled upon this video, I'm like, oh my gosh, no, this is like, I can really relate to a lot of what's being talked about here. So I feel like, no, I want to do a talk about this. I think that this would be a good talk to have. And I'm like, you know what? When I'm having this talk, I'm going to have a beer. Again, I was going to have a fire, but I can't have a fire right now. You know, Canada is like burning down. Right now in BC is in state of emergency, like I said before. How are you doing over there, Caterpie? I don't know if you can hear me still, but I was wondering how is everything is going on over in your side. Are you guys having lots of smoke over there? We're gonna read out to Pinky Melons in a bit here. She's very near me actually. I wonder how she's doing. She's just on the mainland. I'm in the island, she's on the mainland. And so yeah, we're gonna read out to her. I wonder how she's doing, you know. Air quality is okay, but any yellow outside, very yellow outside. Oh yeah. Here we were yellow earlier last week, and then it cleared off a bit last night, as at the end of the day, we had a bit of smoke. I thought it was clouds. There were some clouds, but there was a lot of smoke too, and it's gone. I know there is some small fires in her area. That's why I'm like wondering how she's doing. Yeah, how it's going over there. It can really affect you, the fires, with all the smoke, you know, especially for people that have breathing issues like myself and allergies. I know that when I go camping and I make a fire, and you know how you switch your camping chair around the fire, it's like a dance, you know, like the smoke is always following you kind of thing. And every time when it's morning, I'm stuffy and my eyes hurt and like I have to use my inhaler. But Mass Machine, hello, welcome in, Mass Machine. Oh, what? New sub, Captain Snot Rocket, thank you so much. Hello, MMK5. Yeah, thank you for giving him a shout out. Q Hype Train? What? I don't know what that means. Mass Machine, super fun streams, Mass Machine. I don't know if you guys ever been to his stream. He's so funny. I love it. Yeah. Hi, any Captain Snot Rocket. Oh, you guys know each other. Nice. Does it? Okay, I just installed Lumion Stream on my stream, so I am like, I noticed it now when we do the shout outs. Lumia says something. Oh my gosh, you're doing this. Okay, I need to do this anyways. It's healthy, right? Need to do some squats. So I think maybe a week ago the air quality was probably the worst. I got sick from the smoky air. Oh no, that's horrible. That's not good. No. Okay, I'm gonna do it behind here, okay? But I'm gonna go all the way down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Oh my gosh, don't do that. I already woke up sore because I did a lot of leg workout yesterday. Yeah, I'm trying to make my legs stronger. You know, you get on your 40s, you gotta make sure you build some muscles because you do lose muscle mass as you get older, so it's important. I don't dare leave the basement unless absolutely necessary right now. We're on orange alert, and I have a friend whose workplace is handing out, and oh, that sucks. Oh no. Yeah, stay safe. Dave has gotten like really bad over there where he is. A lot of smoke there where he is. I've been lucky this year, but yeah. Refund? What? I did the 10 squats. What are you talking about, Joe? Did you not see my squats? I did the 10 perfect squats. What is going on? I did the 10 squats. I did it. Until she isn't looking. I feel bad you got sore from this morning. Oh, no. No, I did some leg workout yesterday. My chest is still hurting from Saturday because I did some chest workout on Saturday. I want to see some definitions, you know? I want to see some definitions. So I'm really like committed. So not as committed as, you know, becoming top 10 on Grandmaster Wrong stream, but still committed because that was commitment. If Grandmaster Wrong can hear me telling you, I was committed. I'm still committed, but I'm top 1 now, right? Yeah, I am top 1 now. I'm gonna like, one of these days Floss is gonna be at work and he's not gonna be able to go check in, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, that's me. Yeah. I'm not texting you when he crashes so I can take the spot. No, because I get notified. Okay. There, I created a whole hack there, and I'm telling you, I added at everyone when he gets automated into my server, so that my phone will ring, and then I know. Get it? So I actually get double notification. I got Twitch notification and I got Discord notification. So there you go. I'm always going to be notified. No. That's it. So yeah. So I hope everybody enjoyed today's lame. I hope everybody enjoyed today's little shift buckets, 10 more squats. Let's go. Oh my gosh. See, you started something. I gotta take my shoes off. Okay. Oh, okay. Here we go. All right. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There you go. I did them proper too, all right? There you go. Name workout Mondays. I actually had removed the squat thing. Thank you, Shiv. Thank you, Shiv, for the 300 biddies. Thank you. Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, on shenanigans. How do I do it? I wonder if the thing still works. Let's see. I don't know if this one is valid or invalid. It is valid! Yay! If anyone wants to join shenanigans, you can go right there. I'm not talking to you, Google. Yeah, W community. So, how is everybody doing now? Like, you know? Thanks, Malik, for the care and hydrate. Appreciate it. Yes, Google was like, what do you need? I know. You're way more polite to your thing than me. Oh, really? That's funny. So, I asked earlier today, how's your heart? How are you feeling, you know? Are you okay? You know, and if you're not completely okay, that's okay too. But, you know, what is happening? What is happening? I saw my lights shine again. But, you know, maybe this week, you know, let's just do one little thing that brings us back to ourselves. Like, it doesn't have to be anything big. Go for a walk. Maybe you call somebody that you really enjoy talking to, you know. Very lucky. I have some great friends that can have amazing conversations, you know. Maybe you want to cook something special, you know, or maybe just like sit outside for a bit. Maybe grab, I don't know, a towel, put it on the grass outside, or if you don't have that, just get some sun on your face, you know. Just go outside and breathe some fresh air. Not fresh, some breathe air. So breathe some fresh air, you know. Or maybe just go for a little walk and look at the sky. And, you know, I love, actually, one of the things that I really love doing is when I go for a walk, I like to go around a treed area, forest or something. I love looking up at the sky and seeing the trees, you know, the leaves between the sky and the branches. I love that. It just makes me feel so good, you know. Gym sushi. Maybe you want to cook something special. Maybe flight costs $1,000, so I can't make it for dinner. That's funny. You need to hit the gym tonight. Go for a drive is nice too. I love going for drives. Yes. Just turn on a random street that you don't know what's there. Like, oh, I'm gonna turn on the street, see what's over there. Oh, this is all fun stuff. It's just good, you know. I do the same thing, Dave. Yo, shut the fuck up. That's funny. Oh my gosh. Super Salient, hi, hey, how are you doing? Sushi Love Gym. Yeah, my gym is right here. I have a rebounder, I have dumbbells, I have elastic bands for my legs, and I do a lot of calisthenics, you know, when I'm, you know, exercising. Just, you know, calisthenics is underrated, I think. It's pretty good. I've been doing it for a while, you know. I've been following the channel Hybrid Calisthenics for like a lot of years. Summer bought sushi. Yes, because you see, I'm going to Brazil, man. You have to look at my cousins. My cousins, they're ripped. The gym is like their life. My cousins are all very good looking, and it's not. I'm not just doing for that. It's just like I want to get in shape. I want to, you know, I want to see some definitions. I'm eating really healthy, you know, except for the cerveza today, you know. Legs are important for me. I let go of the legs for a bit, and my legs used to be so strong, you know, but yeah, now I'm back at doing the legs and the hip work and all that stuff, you know. It's important. Yeah, but you know, maybe just, how about you just some are locking for sure. Oh yeah, I should move once in a while. Morning workout stream, Annie. Yes, Annie, do some cardio and then go play Fortnite. And then if you get angry at somebody, go back and do cardio again, you know? But how about like even just one thing, like turn off your phone for an hour. Just completely off. Just shut off the phone for an hour. Man, does it feel good? It feels good, you know? Especially when we get older, it's all falling apart. Yeah, we lose a lot of muscle mass, right? So we need to work those muscles, you know? And you know, in 5 years, I'm gonna be 50, man. And then nothing wrong with being 50 years old, by the way, nothing wrong, you know, but in 5 years, I'll be there. And I know that, you know, it's harder to build muscles. It's harder things get harder. So it's like, yeah. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. We deteriorate faster, yes. I could do without that reminder. I'm sorry, Dave. We're all in 5 years. You and me, and I'm not gonna say who else because he's 29 forever. So I'm not gonna, you know, let anybody know that he's actually 45. So she's mean, I know. Yeah. That's what I mean. Exactly. No, not gonna talk about Flawless here, but there's some of us that in 5 years are gonna be 50. You are 29, would you? My love for sushi, my fella ramen. Oh, my ramen fella. Ramen, how you doing, ramen? Or this year? Oh, Jember, this year! Oh my gosh, let's go! Oh, Flawless, thank you for giving me Shiv a sub. Thank you. Oh my gosh, in 5 years. Yo, Flawless, another sub gifted, bring you a total legendary 238. God, you're spreading the love. Thank you. Dang, I'll be pushing 50. Yeah. You are, Flawless. Thank you for the sub. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. I even think about it. It's just funny. Time is just going by, you know? And it's funny because sometimes I'm like, I want people, like younger people stream and they're like, you know, this happened. I'm like, it's not like I'm 40 or anything. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm 40. I'm 45, you know? Can you still juggle in a wheelchair? I'm sure he can do it. I'm sure he can do it. Don't call me Grandpa Joe and I'm 40 in a few years. You only grandpa or grandma when your kid has a kid. Except for grandma. Grandma Ong here. Except for Grandma Ong. You're not 45. I refuse to believe it. I am 45. Keep an eye out and see those 50, 60s too. Doing high levels juggling. Yeah. Jokes on Twitch. I had you loaded on my phone already. Oh, good. Wow, I'm an uncle. Been trying to look around. I'm actually considered old, but still showing kids tricks. That's good. Don't hate getting old. Embrace it. You know, see, about getting older. Like, I know a lot of stuff. A lot of people that have been like using. There's nothing wrong with this, by the way. If anybody uses, you know, Botox fillers, whatever they use, I have decided I am going to like. The only thing I've been doing is actually I've been dyeing my hair because I've been like, I don't like the in between gray, you know. When I have more gray, I'm going to embrace the gray, but I'm not going to do any plastic stuff for myself. I'm not gonna do any injections or anything. I want to embrace. I get to live it once. I want to feel what it's like to get old. I want to see the changes in my body and my face, and you know, I already see, you know, some of the stuff that are happening, you know, in the mirror every day, and it's like, it's kind of beautiful, you know. We get to experience. I'm so lucky that I'm 45 and I get to experience this. I hope I get to experience the whole thing. I hope I get to experience when I'm 85 and look at myself in the mirror and look at the changes that happened in my body. And, you know, I like that, you know? So, Grandmaster called people old on his stream the other day. You clipped it. I imagine all the people you love die again and again. Oh my gosh. 15 years, that was actually... Oh my goodness. My 15-year-old self never been anywhere. Like literally. Max! Oh, don't be sorry. Please drive safe. Thank you for stopping by. I don't look forward to my 30s and 40s. You should. It's amazing time. Yeah, and if we're lucky enough, we get to experience 70s and 80s and maybe 90s, you know? Yeah. I would have to go back before my 30s. Oh my gosh. Welcome to the party. I don't look forward to... Come on, you. Like, seriously. Come on. I like Remasterong smirk over there. That was great. I want to see that clip. I'm gonna look for it. I enjoyed the clip that I made of Masterong the other day when he was doing the juggling. By the way, guys, if you're not following Masterong yet, please do. Amazing streamer. Super duper. You gotta check him out. You gotta check his streams. Yeah. He does juggling too. there's a juggling redeem actually. So save some points at 5,555 channel points. You can choose a song for him to do his juggling to. I wish you could do fire spinning in your streams, mess around, you know? Oh my gosh, you know what I saw the other day? There's this backpack that they sell, okay? It's an IRL backpack. So this IRL backpack has these internet receivers, a bunch of batteries, and it's like, it's for people to do IRL streams. If you want to go out, you're gonna get internet anywhere except for like, I guess, remote areas, unless you have a Starlink or something. But that was so expensive. It was like $3 grand for one of those backpacks. It was really cool though, and it comes with this waterproof, you know, little Sony thing. It has everything connected. It's like so cool, you know. Grandma Cop cosplay, yeah. You've seen the backpack before for streams? Yeah. It's intense, right? I was like, whoa, this is cool. But, you know, those guys. And I heard that the Sony camera that they have for the backpack setup, that Sony camera, it's really hard to find now. I found it on eBay and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's actually not bad. But I'm like, I'm not gonna need it. I don't need that camera. But it's hard to find now. AZ is not that interesting to do IRL stream. Why not? I think that if you were to do an IRL at the park when you're juggling with your friends, that would be so sick. That would be so awesome. Oh, Arizona. What are you talking about? Arizona has beautiful places. I've seen a lot of videos, you know. Isn't there like canyons and stuff, you know? Yeah, do a IRL stream juggling. That'd be so cool. There's just so many things. Too hot in the summer. Yeah, the hot summer for sure. Yeah, still my bucket list though, to go there in Utah. I'd love to do that. Yeah. Sushi Mao collab. I know. I am rating to Mel tonight. She's actually playing the ukulele right now. We need to do a collab. I have decided. Yo, it's MHM. It is MHM, and you got the shrimpies. Look, I got the shrimpies. Look. It's the same shrimp as you have in there. I have the shrimpies. So, okay. I have decided I am going to rent a cello. Okay? I am going to rent a cello. And I'm going to try to practice cello. Even with my bad hand. My hand is not getting any better. But I'm going to try to still do it. I'm going to try to play cello again. Even if it's like simple songs. I'm going to try. Yeah, I am. And I'm going to talk to Mel and see if she can learn something on the ukulele, a beautiful song that I can learn the melody on the cello, and we can play together. So yeah, I think that'll be really, really cool. So yeah, can play a song and GMO can juggle. That would be really cool, actually. That would be really cool for sure. I just wonder like the latency, how the delivery, although I think the delivery should be fine. You know what I mean? But I think it would be good. I think it will be fun. So I'm gonna try again. Even if I can't like play for super long, I want to play again, you know? So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna rent it and I'm gonna practice again. It's something I like doing and I want to do it. If you're on a video chat, it could be fun. Yeah. Ring Mel as a guest star next stream in the future. Yes, she actually doesn't live very far from me. So I could either, I think it would be easier for her to come here, to be honest, because I have dogs and Vinny. She's just her. She could come and we could figure out a little collab. I think it'll be fun, you know, over here. It'll be great. But anyways, I'm going to send you guys to her in Stanley Park. Oh, Stanley Park is so beautiful. We could meet in Stanley Park, you know, we could. It would be pretty cool, actually. Yep, it would be awesome. We could do a little something there for sure, if they have enough internet and stuff. But yeah, so thank you for making Mental Health Monday what it is, guys. Seriously, a place where we can have conversations like this and pretending, you know, without pretending that like any of us have everything figured out, because none of us do. You know what I mean? I definitely don't. But it's nice to just be humans together and chat. And I had a great time today. And I hope that you guys have a freaking amazing week this week. You know, I'm just here with my beer, my second beer now. It's a different one. This is a 3% one. Yeah, because I don't like anything stronger than 3%. This is it. 3% is like the cap for me, you know? It still has flavor. I like it, you know? It has 2 grams of carbs, 70 calories per can, 3% of alcohol. That's not bad. You know what I mean? So, no, sushi don't get drunk. Sushi don't get drunk. I don't get drunk. I don't like the feeling of being drunk ever. You know, every once in a while, a little light beer, little buzz. I don't mind that. But drunk? No, not sushi. No, you will not see that. So, but take care of yourself, guys. Take care of each other, and I'll see you guys on your streams when you're on. And I hope that let's give, you know, the real people in our lives, you know, chance to be real, including ourselves, right? Yeah. So, anyways, I love you guys so much, and I hope you have a fantastic week. Okay? Sushi out.